Hi, Jim. I've heard you say before how Sunny was an upfront cunt, and how she at least deserves more respect for that she didn't hide it. I also heard you say that Sable was the reverse, a secret cunt.
Undercover cunt.
My question is, except for Sable, who else was an undercover cunt? I always imagined Bret Hart to be a cunt. Even though I love his matches, he always came across as a total prize-winning cunt whenever he opened his mouth, whether in promos or in real life. I could be completely wrong.
No, well, yeah, you are. Bret is Canadian, so he's a little dry. He's just not a person who you see laughing uproariously, hour after hour. He's a little dry because he's Canadian. But no, when I made the comparison between Sonny and Sable, it's just that I was just once again astonished that the two Vinces, McMahon and Russo, had this fucking fixation on that goddamn Sable. Completely talentless, unappealing. I'm sorry, but the reason I made that comparison was Sonny was a talented in everything you needed her to do. She didn't need to wrestle. She couldn't wrestle, but she could manage. She could do everything else. So anything you needed her to do, she was able to cut promos on command. She had witty. She could come up with things off the top of her head. She was a good host. She was coordinated. She could model shit. She was good around ringside. She knew how to get heat. Whatever you gave her to perform. Plus, she knew a great deal about wrestling from being close to Chris, who was a wrestling almanac, and she cared enough to study that part too. So anything you needed her to do, she could do. She was just bitchy, and she was a cunt to people, but she didn't try to hide it. That's why I said she was an upfront cunt. But she had a ton of talent for the job that she was hired to do. Sable, on the other hand, went around and was just so nice to everybody, and was just so prim and proper and so ladylike, except that she was really an undercover cunt because she was trying to get a job in there. She was trying to, and the history has borne me out on this. She got a job at the expense of her then husband, Mark Marrow, so she could get on national TV. So because she had grand plans to become some kind of superstar and go into movies and major motion pictures and whatever the fuck. And which she tried later on, and she wanted them to pay her a fucking fortune and this and that and other things. And the point is, she, on the other hand, had no fucking talent whatsoever. She could not cut a promo. She had a horrible fucking voice, that Stepford wife voice that droned on with no passion and no emotion in it, no inflection. She couldn't talk. She looked awkward posing around in her goddamn T-shirt spots and walking around in the ring. She couldn't act. She not only could not wrestle or could not even do anything around ringside physically, but she refused to learn. And when she was put in a position where she had to wrestle with some of the other girls, like goddamn Luna for one time, wanted to fucking kill her, because all she was worried about in the switch of a women's title and a big women's title match, all Sable was worried about was, oh, don't hit me with the belt, I might get hurt. So Luna had to end up doing one of those cheap little shoves into the fucking kidneys. Didn't look like it hurt anybody. She didn't care how Luna came from the Vachon family. She was ready to go out there and go to the bone with a blade or whatever the fuck else it took to get the business over. Sable had no redeeming quality whatsoever, except she knew how to pick the right plastic surgeon. Everybody says, oh, Sable was so beautiful. Well, that may be true. The fake parts were probably better than the real parts. I don't know. But as Sonny said one time, she had more wrinkles on her face than a Shar-Pei puppy. And that was why they couldn't stand each other, because Sable saw that Sonny was better at everything than her and didn't want her getting in her way. And Sonny saw that she was better at everything than Sable was, but because Vince McMahon and Vince Russo had this goddamn irrational fixation on Sable, they tried to push her to the moon, and I kept screaming at him, what the fuck is it? What do you see? I think Sonny's beautiful and gorgeous because she's natural, and she was most at that point, but she also has talent and personality. I don't care if this fucking statue that you're standing in front of me has a better figure or is more beautiful, because she has no fucking personality whatsoever. There's no emotion in her, no passion, that she don't give a fuck about the business. She's boring. What the fuck are you so enamored of? My God, every single girl on the roster to me was more attractive than Sable. Even Luna with half her head shaved. Because they had some fucking personality. And it wouldn't be like just sitting there holding your fucking dick in your hand trying to figure out, oh, Sable, can you talk to me again in that goddamn monotone voice? It just drives me so crazy. Fuck.